I'm Lauren Barrick.
I'm Mark Westlake.
And Happy New Year, because it's been a few weeks since we've been up here.
A little vacation.
A little vacation. So today we're really excited. We are going to be speaking with the AARP. We're going to hear a little bit about, for those of you who don't know what the organization does, we're going to be hearing from Andy Miller, who is the Senior Vice President of Innovation and Product Development. I just wanted to make sure I got that exactly correct.
Okay,
and he's going to talk with us today about smart devices and how those are going to play a role in our lives as we get older, and how they may actually allow us to spend more time living independently and a quality of our life as we get older. So we're just waiting for.
So AARP is a nonprofit focused on folks over the age of 50 that does a few different things. So we have an advocacy component that we're constantly advocating on behalf of the 50-plus audience. We have policy, where we're trying to understand public policy or create public policy, helping drive things. And I'll give you an example. We just had a meeting yesterday around what our position is going to be on autonomous vehicles, right? So we're constantly trying to figure out how do we help industry. We are bringing our own products to market. I understand you saw our booth at CES. We offer membership. In the membership, we actually have one of the things we're really proud of is our magazine. AARP, the magazine, is the most read magazine in the U.S. these days. We have member deals, offers, benefits, and so forth. And we're really trying to just figure out how can we craft the best possible world for folks that are 50 plus. So that's what AARP in a nutshell. When I think smart devices, everything we care about around folks aging in place, right? We want people they want to age in their home. And if you think about aging in your home, you run into issues like fall prevention or fall detection, things like social isolation or social connectedness. And all those things, when you think about technology, is an enabler, right? So when you specifically, I'll pick on the fall detection, fall prevention component. If you think about smart devices and IoT everything, imagine a world where the house, the fabric of the house had smart devices stitched everywhere that could know when you were moving between rooms, if you were sitting, standing, if you had eaten, if you had fallen down, all those sorts of things. So we think that there's a huge opportunity for smart devices. And as the population ages, you're going to see more adoption, right? Today, it's usually adult children that are buying the devices from mom or dad. But as the population ages, you're going to have folks that have been using this sort of technology for a long time. And I think it'll become more and more ubiquitous in the home. And you'll even see it go from in the home to outside the home, right? Where maybe it's portable in the form of a wearable where it interacts with my home, but then I get on a bus and maybe the bus interacts with my wearable. And so you'll see the proliferation of devices, but also the experience will transcend just being in a home to being in a vehicle to being at work or someplace else. So I think when you say the demographic, we talk about 50 plus. That's a pretty big sort of grouping, right? So we often will look at things like 50 to 60, 60 to 70, maybe over 70. And I think that's important when you start thinking about how do you slice the data. When you see people that are 50 to 60, even 50 to 65, there's a lot of comfort with technology. You see the older folks, and oftentimes you'll see the adult children who are probably in their 50s that are comfortable with technology, maybe adopting it and deploying it in their parents' home. I'm not sure you're going to see an 85-year-old running out to buy the latest connected device, right? One of the things I think people have to focus on that are building these devices is not just what they do, but the setup, right? So that's where we see problems where people that are, on the older side of the cohort, they don't understand technology as much. So setting the devices up often can be difficult or daunting to them. So they just tend not to adopt it as quickly. But I think you're definitely seeing the 50 to 60-ish cohort driving a lot of this, a lot of the sales of technology, right? And adopting the technology and pushing it into their parents' homes. I do. I think that we're seeing, and we even saw it at CES this year, you're seeing an uptick in the larger brands wanting to play in this segment. We talk about the longevity economy, right? And we try to capture what would the economic activity of people over the age of 50. And AARP research shows it's $7.6 trillion annually. So those are the numbers that will get the big brands interested in playing in the space. And you start looking at what does that mean? Well, it means they have to create technology that is, to some extent, ageless in design. It has to work for the 70-year-old, it has to work for the 60-year-old, the 50-year-old, and for that matter, the 40 or the 30-year-old. If they design it properly, it's age agnostic. But when you look at where the spend is coming from today, it's not the millennials. The millennials are broke. It's the 50-plus category that is spending the money on technology. So you're seeing that shift in mindset from some of the large brands. Sure. At the highest level, AARP cares about what we call health, wealth, and self. Inside of the health category, it's really focusing on things like caregiving, because there's a huge caregiving problem that exists today and it's only going to get worse in the future. When we think about wealth, it's around financial security or financial resilience, right? Savings and planning, work and jobs. And self is really around personal fulfillment. Today, we're working on a couple different products. One that I'll talk about that was at CES, I'm not sure if you saw it, is a product called Elko VR. And Elko VR is a virtual reality solution based on the Oculus Go platform. And the idea is to really go after social isolation or social connection, right? And what we've done is we've built a product that enables multiplayer. So you can have multiple people from anywhere in the country with their avatar be inside of Elko together and interacting with content, whether that's, hey, let's go walk the streets of Barcelona, or maybe we want to play a brain health game, right? So we're figuring out solutions that help not just an individual, but how do we bring people together around common activities? So that's one example of something we've launched and launched at CES, and it's been really well received. And we launched it as an early adopter application. We have another product we launched at CES called Confetti. And Confetti is, in its current form, would resemble kind of like a picture book company. That's not the intent. That's the current manifestation of it. It's really, how do you collaboratively capture the moments that matter most in life, right? So if you think about intergenerational activity, so grandparent to adult child to grandchild, how do we let them capture these moments and share, and whether it's, passing your legacy on or maybe capturing mom and dad's 50th anniversary. And one of the problems that exists today is most of the products out there that do this are single user, right? So I want to make a book for mom's and dad's 50th anniversary. The onus is on me to find all the assets, the artifacts, the pictures, the whatever. And so if you've ever done this, it takes a long time and it's not really that efficient. So we created a platform that's collaborative. So it's kind of like a crowdsourced, version of this, right? You send out, hey, it's mom and dad's 50th anniversary. You send out all the friends, family, help me, gather their memories. And what happens is there's some stories you've just never heard that someone brings to the table. So there's a picture you've never seen. There's all this, and we're working on video and audio to be part of it as well. And today, you get a digital slideshow that's shareable and it's free. You can create a book, and there's different flavors of book that you can create. And we've taken it a step further, and we're doing an integration with Elko. So you can take this entire thing and make it an immersive experience that mom or dad or anyone can actually experience inside of virtual reality. So those are just some of the products we're working on today. The other thing I'll say is that we are deeply committed to the startup community. So we know we can only do so much. We have limited resources, but what we can do is help startups that are focusing on the same problems or same challenges. We can help them. So we actively participate in a number of accelerator programs. We run our own pitch events. We actually ran a pitch event with CES, at CES. And we find these startups, and once we find the ones we think are really good, we'll actually bring them into what we call Hatchery Ventures program. We give them in-kind services. We take a little warrant in their business. And the goal is to really help co-create or collaborate on a product or service we can bring to market with them. right? So it extends our capabilities beyond what we have internally.